The art director's debrief, Wuthering Heights Deconstructed, Anatomy of a Ghostly Obsession. Hello and welcome back to the Emotive archive. We left the second generation of Wuthering Heights trapped in a cruel and inescapable web, their fate sealed by the forced marriage of Cathy and Linton. In the chapters we will deconstruct today, 28 through 31, Heathcliff's long, brutal campaign of revenge reaches its zenith. The last of his enemies will fall, and he will become the undisputed master of both the Grange and the Heights. But this section is not about his victory. It is a descent into the final, darkest, and most shocking layer of his psychology. We will anatomize the death of Edgar Linton, the pathetic end of Linton Heathcliff, and the chilling, unforgettable confession that reveals the true, supernatural nature of Heathcliff's 18-year-long obsession. This is the story of a man who has achieved everything he ever wanted, only to realize that his true desire lies beyond the grave. The section begins with the final tragic moments of Edgar Linton. He dies a gentle, civilized death, a death that is a perfect reflection of his life. His final joy is the brief return of his daughter, Cathy, and he dies believing, however falsely, that she is happy and secure. His death marks the end of an era, the final extinguishment of the light of Thrushcross Grange. From an artistic perspective, Edgar represents the death of the Enlightenment ideal in the face of the savage romantic force that is Heathcliff. He is a man of reason, of kindness, of order. But in the world of Wuthering Heights, these virtues are no match for the primal, all-consuming power of obsessive love and hatred. His passing leaves the civilized world completely vulnerable to the dark master of the Heights. Heathcliff's first act as the new unofficial master of the Grange is a small but profoundly symbolic one. He goes to Catherine's locket, which Edgar wore until his death, and replaces Edgar's lock of fair hair with his own dark lock, weaving the two together. This is a powerful, almost pagan act of possession. He is, even in death, refusing to let Catherine belong to anyone but him. He is asserting his claim over her very corpse, a chilling foreshadowing of the confession that is to come. This brings us to the heart of this section, Heathcliff's long, shocking, and deeply moving confession to Nellie Dean in chapter 29. This is the moment we finally understand the true nature of his torment. He reveals that for the past 18 years, since the night of Catherine's death, he has been actively haunted by her. This is not a metaphor. He has felt her presence, heard her sigh, but has never been able to see her. His life has not been one of simple grief. It has been a state of constant, agonizing, supernatural torture. He is a man living on the threshold between two worlds, unable to find peace in this one and unable to cross over into the next. The most shocking revelation is his description of digging up her grave on the night of her burial. This is a moment of pure Gothic horror, an act of necrophilia that transgresses all boundaries of civilized behavior. He describes opening her coffin and seeing her face still preserved. He says, "I saw her face again. It is hers, yet." This is the act of a man so consumed by his love and grief that he must physically break through the barrier of death to be with her. He's not just mourning a memory, he's trying to possess a corpse. He's stopped from a final desperate embrace only by the feeling of her spectral presence beside him. This confession is the key to his entire character. His cruelty, his revenge, his very existence, all of it is fueled by this 18-year-long, frustrated desire to reunite with a ghost. The death of his own son, Linton, in chapter 30 is a chilling counterpoint to this obsessive love. Linton dies alone, unloved, a pathetic and discarded tool in his father's grand scheme. His reaction to the news is not grief, but a cold, pragmatic assessment of his new legal status as the owner of Thrushcross Grange. His complete lack of paternal feeling highlights the monstrosity of his character. He is capable of a love so powerful it defies the grave, but only for one person. For everyone else, including his own child, he has nothing but contempt. This solidifies his status as a force of nature, a creature of singular, all-consuming passion, devoid of normal human empathy. The first part of the novel's story, the tale told by Nellie Dean, concludes here. Heathcliff has won. He's the master of all, but he's a king in an empire of ashes, more alone and more tormented than ever before. The narrative then returns to the present day, to Lockwood, who, having heard this terrible tale, decides to flee the savage land, a final testament to the horrifying and untamable nature of the world he has stumbled into.
Now that we have anatomized Heathcliff's shocking confession, let us elevate our analysis and view it through a more radical, psychological, and artistic lens. Heathcliff's relationship with the dead Catherine is not just a ghost story. It is a profound and terrifying exploration of melancholia, trauma, and the creation of a private, mythological reality. He is not just a man haunted by a ghost, he is an artist who has spent 18 years trying to resurrect his lost love, not in the flesh, but as a living, breathing presence within his own mind. Let us first deconstruct his obsession through a psychoanalytic lens. Freud distinguished between mourning, a healthy process of grieving and eventually letting go, and melancholia, a pathological state where the grieving person internalizes the lost object, incorporating it into their own ego. Heathcliff is a textbook case of extreme melancholia. He has not mourned Catherine, he has absorbed her. His famous cry, "I cannot live without my soul," is a literal diagnosis. He believes Catherine was his soul, and upon her death, he has attempted to keep that soul alive by turning his own psyche into her tomb and her temple. The ghost he is haunted by is not an external entity. It is a part of himself, the internalized memory of Catherine that he refuses to let die. His entire life of revenge is a ritual designed to keep this internal ghost alive, to feed it with the suffering of their shared enemies. He creates a world of misery because misery was the state in which his bond with Catherine was most intense. His act of digging up her grave is the most extreme manifestation of this melancholia. It is a desperate attempt to bridge the gap between his internal psychological reality and the external physical world. He needs to see her corpse to confirm that his internal vision of her is still real. This act, which seems like pure madness, can be seen as a twisted form of artistic verification. He is a sculptor checking his model, a painter confirming the likeness of his subject. The fact that he finds her face preserved is, in his mind, a miracle, a validation of his belief that their connection is stronger than death and decay. Furthermore, let us analyze his obsession as an act of artistic creation. After Catherine's death, Heathcliff becomes a dark artist, and his medium is human suffering. The world he creates at Wuthering Heights, a world of degradation, ignorance, and cruelty, is a deliberate work of art, a living sculpture designed to be a perfect, hellish monument to his lost love. He takes Hareton, the heir of his enemy, and sculpts him into a reflection of his own degraded youth. He takes his own son, Linton, and uses him as a fragile, pathetic tool to achieve his goals. And he takes the second Cathy, the living image of her mother, and tries to trap her in the same cycle of misery. He is not just seeking revenge, he's a dark stage director, forcing the second generation to reenact a twisted, degraded version of the tragedy of the first. He is trying to control the past by recreating it, a desperate, artistic attempt to achieve a different outcome, an outcome where he is the master. This is why his victory is so ultimately empty. He has acquired the properties, he has destroyed his enemies, but he has failed in his true artistic project, to resurrect Catherine. The world he has created is a monument to her absence, not her presence. By the end of this section, he is a man who has achieved absolute power over his physical world, but remains an absolute slave to his internal, psychological one. His confession to Nellie is the cry of a failed god, a creator who has built a world but cannot populate it with the one soul he truly desires. The final chapters of the novel will detail the collapse of this dark artistic project, the moment when the artist finally realizes that his masterpiece of revenge is a hollow and meaningless creation, and that the only true path to reunion with his lost love lies not in tormenting the living, but in joining her in death.
thank you for joining me in the Emotive Archive.